Hi everyone, welcome back to today's tutorial. So if you missed this video where I made this cute little top for your tumbler, well, I did the tumbler as well. It's an ice cream tumbler, but I made the tumbler so I could show you how to make this topper, which is super cute. So I do want to show you how to make this topper. It's a whipped cream top. But I really don't want to do that until I actually make the tumbler to go with it, because what am I going to do with a lid with no tumbler to go with it? So today we're going to work on the tumbler, and tomorrow we will work on the lid. This is the fabric I chose because it would go really good with a whipped cream lid. So you're going to need some kind of fabric. You'll need your tumbler. I'm going to use the tack-it method below, just like I did on this one, to get that holographic look on the glitter. We're going to lay it nice and flat. So I'm going to use this color today. So to do that, you need tack-it over and over. And you're going to water it down 50-50. And I have this left over from the last tumbler I did. So this is 50 water, 50 tack-it over and over. Just mix it real good. But first, you're going to want to sand this down, get it nice and, roughed up so it will hold on to everything. And we're going to get 2 coats, thin coats of this on here before we even sprinkle any glitter. So let's get started. I'm just going to take a piece of 220 sandpaper and very quickly, you don't have to spend a lot of time on this. You just want to get those scratches up in there. Go around the whole tumbler and the bottom. You don't need it like super sanded or anything. So just get the bottom and all around. And then wash it down with a little bit of alcohol. The alcohol will get all that residue off that we just sanded, and it will also clean your cup. See how dirty that is? Make sure you clean it really well. You'll start off with a nice, clean canvas. And I always use it on my turner arm. It just gives me something to hold on to the whole time. And we're going to spray paint this light blue before I get started, just so we only need 1 coat of this. This is the closest spray paint that I have. You do want a matte finish or a satin finish if you have it, and that's what this one is. This is actually a chalky finish. So it's close enough to this blue where if you miss a spot with the glitter, then you really won't notice it. Plus, most of it is going to be covered with the fabric, so you're really good in either way you go. While I'm waiting for my paint to dry over there, I cut out my fabric. So I just basically measured around the rim. It's a 20-ounce cup over there, as this one is. So I measured 10 around here and 8 from top to bottom. Measure your cup before you do it, and make sure your fabric is facing the right way when you're cutting it. Because if you're going to put it on upside down this way instead, maybe you're doing a zipper effect and you want to unzip it, then this would be upside down. But I'm going to be putting mine on from the top, just like I did this one. So this is the right side. And then, if you have washi tapes, I have all kinds of washi tapes to choose from. These are all my glittery ones. And then I have non-glittery ones. But I chose this white iridescent because I don't have the right pink. I wanted pink, and all these colors are just not the right shade of pink. So I don't want to use purple. So since the whipped cream is white, I figured the white would be a good choice. I have my brush ready that I'm going to be using. I have my tack-it over and over ready. And I have my holographic glitter ready. At this point, if you don't want glitter on your fabric, hide it in a drawer, because it's almost impossible for glitter not to get on here. So I'm going to try to hide it, but I can't guarantee that glitter won't get on here. My cup is now dry, so I'm just going to take my glue and my little brush, dip it in, and just go over it. It's really watery because we did water it down 50-50. And we're just going to let it dry. Once it's dry, it'll be clear and it'll be tacky. Then you're going to do this step again. I won't show you both times. So when I come back, it will be 2 coats of dried tack-it. And then we will be ready to add our glitter, which is so cool. I just love the effect you get from this tack-it method. I try to do it when I do glittery tumblers, especially holographic. It works the best with holographic glitter. So I'm just going around trying to get most of these lines out, and then the bottom. I'm going to throw it on my spinner, and it'll be dry in probably 10 to 15 minutes. I'm going to do it again, and then I'll be back when I'm ready to glitter it. We are at the fun part, you guys. There's 2 coats on here. It's dry, it's clear, it's tacky. So get a piece of paper down, get gloves on that fit you well. You don't want them too loose. You don't want them all over the place. It's just not fun. Okay, so you're just gonna sprinkle your glitter on. Not crazy amount. Just get it all over your cup. I'm going to try to keep it as clean as I can because this paper I want to be able to pick up and put back in my jar before I start tacking it down, just because I put down the one that touched the glue into a different jar, and I'll just use it for something else. So just make sure you get it all over before you start, because you don't want to miss any spots. You don't have to rush. If you're doing crafts, you shouldn't be rushing anyway. You're supposed to be relaxing, making sure it's perfect. Plus, it's going to be laying down. So I'm just going to get this on my edges a little bit. I didn't get my bottom very good. You can also dip it in. Or pick it up like that. Okay, that looks good. Try to keep it on your paper so you don't lose too much glitter. So before I start pressing it down, like I said, you're gonna want to save your good glitter. So I'm just gonna set this over here. That, and remember, make sure your fabric is way out of the way, otherwise you're going to get glitter all over it. So just start rubbing, and you will be able to tell because it will be a completely different look than what you have now. See how that lays flat and it's like a different color? Here, I'll show you on here. See how that's different? It's the holographic comes out. It's just gorgeous. You can't even tell in the video. It is so much better in person. So just take a finger, your hand, doesn't matter how you do it, and it will lay right down. It will be so smooth. It will not be tacky at all. It will feel like so smooth. I can't even explain it. You just have to do it. See how that holographic comes out? It's amazing. I just love this. And right after, you're ready for the next step. There's like no waiting to dry, no nothing. It's perfect. So I just take this glitter, and I have a little dump jar somewhere over here. There it is. See? Dump jar. And I just add all my colors into here. And I just use them when I want some random colors. Just mix it all up. This one's got all kinds of colors in there. All right. That's it. That is so simple, you guys. So simple. The trick is to water down that glue 50-50. 2 coats and I've never had an issue with it. So what I'm going to do is put a quick coat of epoxy on here and get that cured before I put my fabric on, just because I want to seal that in. You probably don't have to do that, but because I'm going to be Mod Podging this whole thing, I'm just going to feel better putting a really, really thin coat on. Okay, got my resin. I'm using Fast Cure. I love this stuff. I use it on so many things. Now I over poured it, so I mixed up 15 milliliters instead of 10, so we're gonna go with that. And you don't need much, like literally hardly anything, just enough to seal it in, as if we were putting glitter on with the epoxy. You don't want to use that much because we want it to dry quick. We don't need a thick coat, so we're just going to spread the least amount possible. You could probably do this whole cup with 5 milliliters. That's what I'm shooting for anyway. I'll just use the rest for a magnet or something, because I'm gonna have more coats on this obviously after the fabric and the washi tape and probably a decal. So just get it as thin as you can. And I do this off of the tumbler because I'm pressing really hard and I don't want to like mess up my tumbler arm by as hard as I'm pressing, because I'm not just spreading it out like I normally do. Very gently. I'm definitely not being gentle right now. So get it all on the bottom and up the sides. That's it. It will be nice and smooth. It already was smooth, but again, look at that shine. It's so pretty. I'm just gonna get it on my turner and then we'll get the fabric on. All right, it's time to move on. It's got, I think 3 coats I did, and I don't see any spots where I might have missed. It's definitely on there. So before I trim it with my trimmer, I'm just going to take my scissors and cut around the edge, just so it sits into my trimmer flat. If you don't have a trimmer, then I would say just cut it as close to the rim as you possibly can, because you really want a little bit of your stainless steel to be showing. So I have this really cool trimmer. Here's the little blade right here, and it's adjustable, so it's got all these little layers, so depending on how high you want your trim, you can just adjust the blade. So you're just going to stick it in here and move this around in a circle, and you'll have the perfect cut. And we can get the fabric off of that rim, because I will be putting washi tape around there as well. So make sure you slice through it. Just grab it, and it helps. That's why I did put a coat of epoxy on there first, so it doesn't completely stick to there. So you don't want to just pull it off of what you've already glued down, so be careful pulling it off. And then I have a decal that I've pre-printed that we're going to put on now, since we have epoxy on here. So I'm just going to set this here. I have to get this off. If it comes off easy, I hope it will. Otherwise, I will be back when it is off. All right, we're just going, I did cut between the words, as you can see. That way, if I want to lay one word down at a time, I can, or this cupcake. So I'm just going to get it placed where I want it. I'm just going to eyeball this one. And the nice thing about that is you could just lay one word down on a curved surface. That way you're not stuck making a mess. And I'm going to cut down here so I can get this word down without this cupcake going down. And I'm gonna have to relocate the cupcake because it doesn't fit on the side there. I think I'll put it down here. So just press it down nice and firm. Then we can start getting our final layers of epoxy on. This is a very thin font and they can be kind of pesky to get off. So just take your time and be careful, you don't want to rip anything. Oh my gosh, you guys, that was crazy. That took forever. And you know why? Because not only is it a small font, I use strong grip tape. Don't use strong grip tape. I actually recommend using painter's tape, the blue stuff, because it comes off super easy. But the only problem with the painter's tape is you can't really see how you're lined up. Oh my gosh. Okay. Now we're going to move on to the washi tape. I'm just going to put this on all the seams and trim it. Then I'm going to seal over all of this before I put epoxy on here, because this stuff will lift under epoxy and that's not fun to fix. So I always seal them. This was the first cup I've ever used this brand washi tape, which I got from Michael's. And I think it's Red Collections is the name brand. I do not recommend it at all. I am so not happy with it, but I'm already too far into it to turn around. So I did put a second piece over it because when I put my Mod Podge sealer to take the cheap way out, the easy way out, the white went completely clear. Not completely, but it was not looking good. So I put a second piece on. I put Mod Podge glue over it because it was bubbling up in certain areas. This is what I'm saying. Don't buy garbage or you're going to be upset. So after the Mod Podge was completely sealed around all these edges, I then went and put a coat of this urethane sealer on it. This is water-based. You just put it on with your finger. And I let that dry completely. So now it's finally ready for some resin. So I'm going to just wash this down while I'm thinking about it with some alcohol, get some resin mixed up. I'm going to put probably 2 coats on here, and I will get you pictures as soon as it's done. I'll video my first coat. I won't video every coat because they're all the same. But I do want to show you one of my favorite items is this iridescent glitter I get from Resin on Amazon. It'll be linked below with everything else that I've used. And I always, unless it's a specific order and they don't want it, then I don't use it. But if it's not, then I always use it. It just puts a nice shimmer in there. So let's see how this works. I'm not happy with this tape and all this sealing I had to do. So let's just hope this goes on without any drama. Now, because I have 2 things of washi tape on here, I'm going to need more than 1 coat for sure. Hopefully not more than 2. I might possibly need 3 coats. I don't know. But whatever it is, I'll let you know at the end what I had to do. And between coats, I will be sanding down the rim right where my finger's at right now. I'm going to sand down that blue part so I expose just a little bit of stainless steel for the next coat or 2. That way the resin will have something to adhere to. I did not do it on this coat. No, you can. You don't have to wait till the next coat. I just now am looking at it, realizing I didn't do it. I already put my sticker on the bottom rim as well. So that is there. I put that there before I sealed it. So if you have a sticker that you want on the bottom, do it with all the other decals and things so it all can get resined in at the same time. And just take... This is, I mixed up 20 milliliters, but I'm only using about 15. You don't want it too thick. You don't want it to pool anywhere. And then, I'll get this glove off. I'm just going to take a torch and pop any bubbles. And then I will repeat this process a couple more times. If you have to sand between them, if things don't feel smooth, then just sand it lightly between coats. No big deal. It's all done. It only took 2 coats and it's covering everything good. And I put the sticker on the bottom with my name and washing instructions. Just make sure you trim the top and wash it out with acetone to get all the overspray from your spray paint off before you give it away. I don't know if you can see the sparkle. I think so. That's from that little bit of glitter I put into the epoxy. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. So make sure you come back. Hopefully it's tomorrow. And I will show you how to do the whipped cream lid to go with it. You guys all have a blessed day. See you tomorrow. Bye.